Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Heidi.
And I'm Toby.
And we got another AMA session for you, episode 11 coming at you. These questions, for those of you who are new, these questions were submitted to us by our lovely Patreon members of the CT Club. If you'd like to join up, you can go ahead and find the link down below in the video description. What do we do there in the CT Club, Toby?
Trade alerts, classes,
Portfolio
updates, pep talks,
Yeah.
like when things are dropping, I'm kind of, helping people figure out what's happening. Like the China FUD we had and all that other stuff, the worthless FUD that's going on and trying to knock the markets down. Yeah, so I just to try to calm people down and, show them that history is more than likely to repeat itself and that we are fine.
Yeah, it's also turning into quite a great community of people who are learning as they go, and we've been in this space long enough to have developed a really solid community of people who we trust and who we bounce ideas off of. Kent Halliburton is one of those people. I hope you guys caught that video that he posted. Hugo is another one, and if you caught his Solana tutorials and talking about SafeMoon, just an example of the type of people we interact with, and the CT Club is really turning into that for a lot of newcomers as well. So that's really cool for me to check out. But let's get into the questions.
Sure.
First one. Speaking of trade alerts, Toby got us into MATIC at 18 cents and again at 38 cents. Legendary. I peeled a bit off at $1.75 and converted it to a USDC. How much patience would you give to MATIC? Is it a short-term lifeboat for Ethereum gas price cost or longer term? Thanks in advance.
I mean, layer 2 is really needed for transactions and keeping costs down for Ethereum. So I am very bullish on Ethereum, which means I'm bullish on MATIC.
Yeah.
I think it's going to do really well in the long run. And as long as they, keep on helping out the network and continually, meeting their roadmap, their goals, I think it's going to do great in the long run. And so that's pretty much why I was telling people to buy multiple times, in the teens. And it's done great. I'm really happy, especially during that dip. We saw MATIC, holding strong.
Who'd have thought you need a hedge during a bull run? But turns out MATIC was one of a few coins that we got into that we're doing well.
And one little tip, like what I've seen in 2017, the coins that did well during the downturns, because there was like 3 or 4 38% dips back then. This is one. And so, yeah, that was much harder to hold. But the coins that actually held strong were the ones that did the best in the long run. So
that continued to exist after the bull run also.
Yeah.
Typically.
Yeah.
Another thing that we're always saying is, or me too, is crypto is not a zero-sum game. It's not like one coin has to die off for another one to exist and vice versa. One thriving doesn't automatically discontinue another one from being valuable either. So this whole concept of, ETH 2.0, they finally get scalable, they finally reduce those gas fees, it's going to render these second layer solutions useless. I don't think so. I think that's also why they've, in February, they kind of shifted from MATIC to this Polygon. Same word, same project, whatever. And they're shifting because they're now doing it's kind of like a blockchain enterprise thing where they can build blockchains, customize them. And they're all second layer solutions to Ethereum. So they get their validity and their security from Ethereum. And because these are newer blockchains, they can be smaller, they can be more agile, faster, cheaper, and interoperable, which is kind of similar to things like Polkadot and Cosmos. We'll see how
parachains,
we'll see how they compete. Really, that's what it is. They're all pretty similar time frame level of development. So I don't think MATIC is super short term where it's going to die off when Ethereum 2.0 comes out.
But we will let everyone know when we are selling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next question. In your opinion, how safe are the preferred stablecoins like USDC and DAI. Wouldn't touch Tether if my life depended on it. Super paranoid from previous experiences in the crypto space. Wanting to try to secure a percentage of my portfolio as dry powder for the upcoming bear market, but stablecoins make me a bit uneasy. Thanks for great content.
I mean, USDC is Coinbase's
Yeah.
stablecoin, and then USDG is, Gemini's as well. And USDT, I have never had any problems with that. I've heard a lot of FUD. I've heard a lot of, okay, the U.S. Attorney General is looking into Tether. I'm like, okay, here we go again. For the, how many times?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Tether obituaries. Like, how many times are they going to declare it dead? I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. But with that said, obviously, I want the one with the least amount of FUD around it. And I know that, USDG and C is definitely audited. And those are the ones that I probably am going to be in. As far as DAI, sure, that's fine too. I think most of the larger ones are fine. And you can make a pretty killer percentage off it on certain things like BlockFi or even Binance or, Aave and Curve and whatever you want.
I mean, what I'm about to say, it sounds funny coming out of my mouth, but because I'm always,
Don't do it.
skeptical or, not pro-regulation. But ironically, that is why I think we will prefer USDC and maybe GUSD in terms of, maybe not GUSD because it's not as many trading pairs as USDC, but because these are based from US-based exchanges like Coinbase and Gemini, heavily regulated, heavily identified people who can go down if they mismanage this, if it goes awry, if they're trying to do something funny. I know there's a lot of irony happening here. Also, with it being a stablecoin backed by fiat value, there's that. But in terms of locking profits up, Tether has had a huge chunk of that market for a long time. And finally now, I think they got away with a lot of things. They're still benefiting from that long-term exposure and that hard network effect that it has. Also, DAI is a really interesting stablecoin. It's not achieved through reserves of physical metals or of fiat currencies. Its stability is achieved through its algorithms, so what is called an elastic supply. It's not the only one, but for sure it's the most popular. You're going to find probably the best trading pairs with it. You can also use it with a lot of the DeFi platforms on Ethereum. So DAI is pretty cool. Nothing wrong with those. I'm happy to see competition in the stablecoin arena. Next question. Hey guys, much love for you. I don't understand layer 2 solutions like MATIC. Luckily, I threw a little in at 35 cents anyway. Can you
Congrats.
put into simple terms? Thank you so much. And Toby, mad respect for catching those waves.
Thanks.
Yes. Toby's well deserved. Okay, so layer 2 solutions basically is people stepping in to develop tools that will help you. It's kind of like having your cake and eating it too. The best of both worlds, where you get the benefit of a new blockchain or a blockchain that is nimble and able to quickly implement these kind of scaling solutions. If we're talking about MATIC, they use Plasma. That's the only one they have implemented right now. They're saying they will have the capability of implementing a lot of different ones like ZK Snarks or rollups, for example. So basically, you get the benefit of having these super fast, cheap transactions while you still have the validity and the legitimacy of the, let's say, Ethereum blockchain, because that's what MATIC is layer 2 solution for. So basically, that's what it is. MATIC specifically, the benefit for that one compared to these other options like maybe Polkadot or Cosmos, which are more focused on like direct blockchain interoperability. What makes MATIC different is it works with the Ethereum virtual machine directly. So that means that anyone who is developing on Ethereum, making dApps, building on Ethereum, they can easily plug and play that onto MATIC. And we saw that recently with Aave, actually. They had their protocol running on Ethereum, and as was happening with like most DeFi things running on Ethereum, A lot of people were annoyed with the gas fees. So what Aave did is they took their protocol and they launched it on MATIC. So that's a great way, a great example. And actually MATIC has quite a few partnerships with it as well. So we're pretty bullish on MATIC. We're super happy to have invested in it. And I think our CT Club members are as well.
Exactly. And that's how Cardano is setting up their transition from Ethereum devs to Cardano. Yeah. And so they can literally cut and paste code, and it just transfers it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a great way to have, you know, ideas running on these different protocols to see what works best. And for those of you, I mean, I really hate maximalists for any coin because the simple fact is all of this experimentation and all this moving from one coin to another or whatever, or, you know, things being developed on one blockchain to another, it's all for our end user benefit. They're trying to find the best way to have your money work for you if we're talking about DeFi and, you know, decentralized finance. So I just hate when people get stuck in this mindset of it has to be their coin. It has to be their coin. It doesn't matter. You should be happy that any of these solutions are being developed and they're bouncing ideas off of each other. It's an open source community. It's a beautiful thing. And just be happy that you're watching it happen. It's a pretty cool time in history, I think. Okay, rant over. Next question. What is the best wallet extension to connect to DEXs?
You go for that.
So,
DEX queen.
Okay, I want to address the MetaMask video that I did. A lot of people, it's funny because people are saying, no, it's a very bipolar video. Some people are like, what, have you never read any terms and conditions before? This is general for everything. And a lot of people are like, wow, I had no idea that that's what was going on. And that was the point of the video, was to tell people, so many people interact with things online and they have never read the terms and conditions. They just assume it's all in their best interest. Dude, they get away with so much stuff and you have no idea. Just take the time to read the terms and conditions. If you took away nothing else from that video, that was the point I wanted to make. That being said, the whole also point of this channel, my desire for all of you watching these videos is that you learn how to put into practice things that we talk about. So for example, again, that MetaMask video, the main point of that was I was reading off their privacy policy and their terms and conditions. If you're wanting to know, a lot of people were saying, well, what's the alternative? It depends on the platform you're using. For example, Uniswap has a lot of different options like the Coinbase wallet, Portis wallet, MetaMask. You can connect to your ledger through MetaMask to Uniswap, but that I don't like. 1inch allows you to connect directly to your ledger. So does Kyber. Radium, if you're looking for a decentralized exchange. Now, when you're talking about DeFi and farming and that kind of next level interaction with cryptocurrencies, most of these, unfortunately, are only working with MetaMask. So it really depends on your appetite for risk. Do you know how to secure yourself using MetaMask? Maybe use it on a browser completely on its own. You disable the capability of it to, you know, read what you're doing on other websites when you're not using it. It's definitely not as user-friendly, which is the whole point of MetaMask, was it's supposed to be super convenient. The irony is that for it to be the most convenient, it also has to be the most invasive. And for those of you who think this is how all browser extensions work, read the terms and conditions and the privacy policy of something like Uroi. That's the one that you can interact with Cardano with, and it doesn't look anything like that compared to MetaMask. It could change. MetaMask used to be really cool, and then it changed about 4 years ago, maybe. They changed their privacy policy, and it's a product of Google, so that's all I have to say there. But yeah, wallet extension, connect to DEXs. Just read the terms and conditions, get used to that, and just protect yourself and understand what's going on. Okay, next question. Have we completely missed the massive thousands of % gains in things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc.? Or are there other altcoins that could theoretically go bananas?
No way. Absolutely not. Because think about it, 1,000% gain for Bitcoin right now. It's at like, what, 39,000? That's, $390,000. Of course it's going to hit that. For sure. ETH, I mean, please, we're just getting started. I totally expect within the next several years that we're going to hit 25,000, 30,000 for ETH. And people used to call me nuts for saying back when ETH was at $5 or even $3, you know, I'm like, this is going to be $1,000 one day. People ridiculed me, and I couldn't care less. I thought, okay, this is good. I think when people give me crap, it like just puts a fire under my butt.
Fire.
I love it. I love it when people get, I love starting fights, and that was a great one.
You're so nice.
I know, but I love it. I'm like, oh yeah, just watch. And then I remind them like several years later. Hey, you remember that? So funny.
Yeah. Also, you know, thousands of % of gains, you have to think of what mindset are you in? What time frame are you thinking of? I mean, within the next month, probably not. If it's generational wealth, definitely. Many times over, probably. Especially considering if you're still valuing it in fiat currency and that thing is inflating to no end. And other altcoins that could theoretically go bananas.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So many.
During a bull run, if they have enough marketing skill and like, you know, you can get away with so much during a bull run.
I mean, have you seen our gains from our Patreon groups from MATIC, Solana, ADA, like the list goes on. Yeah, we've seen thousands of % gains.
But to have completely missed, no.
No.
Okay.
Patience.
Yeah, for sure. And just know that markets run in cycles. This isn't going to go on forever, but it will certainly have another bull run in the future, and it will certainly give you all of the gains you could possibly want. Next question. We own a privacy coin like Monero on an exchange like Coinbase Pro. How can it be private for transactions since Coinbase is not private? Sounds like you answered your own question.
Exactly.
But no, exactly right. You have, if you're paying attention to your privacy with cryptocurrencies, which I think everyone should do, everyone should be aware of what they could do to protect their privacy. I think everyone should protect their privacy because it's your right. If you're holding a coin on Monero with an exchange that you've gone through KYC, that exchange knows that you are holding Monero. Automatically not private. What you can do if you wanted to anonymize your Monero again is you can send it to an exchange like BISC or because now that you already have cryptocurrency, you can send it to an exchange that doesn't require KYC if you're just dealing crypto to crypto. Bitcoin.com was one of them. If you're a US citizen, you'll be running the risk of violating their terms and conditions. KuCoin is the same. Probably the same terms and conditions as well. You can use a VPN, send it to Monero, trade it for something else, trade it back to Monero, and then store it in a Monero wallet. Don't store it on an exchange. That is another huge thing. Exchange. Don't send it back to Coinbase Pro, because that would just, you paid a bunch of transaction fees for no reason. Yeah. So yeah, if you're thinking about privacy, you gotta think it all the way through for sure. Next question. What do you think of using crypto trader tax for those of us that need to pay tax on our trades? Thanks. Well, that is a growing number of people these days. So actually, personally, we've only ever used crypto tax pros, dealing with our cryptocurrency investments and paying taxes when we did have to do that when we were US citizens. So, I mean, yeah, this software can make it easy. You just input your APIs from your exchanges that you've used, and it's like a general way to pay your taxes and to be legal with the IRS, which is a very big thing. And I personally would not advise anyone try to challenge the IRS or anything like that. Keep it legal, guys. But the benefit of using a tax pro, especially if you're dealing with a large amount of gains, which this being a bull run that it is, a lot of people are dealing with that. You'd be surprised how many legal ways there are to reduce your tax liability, keep more of your profits for yourself, if that's what you want to do. If you want to pay as many taxes as possible, go ahead and use this software and give it all away, basically. It's up to you. But I mean, for sure, like it exists. It's a way to stay legal, but it's not going to be necessarily the most efficient way to keep your profits. Next question and last question. Last
Sure.
question, Toby. I'm sorry. Why, in your opinion, haven't the mega elite used their political pawns to make cryptos illegal a long time ago, especially private coins? I understand there is a cartel theory like price manipulation and suppression, but what I mean is a total ban. No trading, no holding, no nothing. It is a threat to them. So why haven't the powerful elite made it illegal?
I mean, peer-to-peer. So
I think it's pretty obvious they haven't because they can't.
yeah, exactly. They can't. It's open source. So anything that government decides to do to Bitcoin, you have literally the smartest people in the entire world, the smartest developers, coders that are behind Bitcoin and this ecosystem. And so you can't fight that. Governments are Goliaths.
They have a lot to worry about.
Yeah.
And the crypto space just has crypto to worry about.
They have bureaucracy. They have to pass laws. They have to deal with so much red tape.
Yeah.
We just go, okay, it's permissionless. That's why that big word, everybody says, oh, it's permissionless global, blah, blah, blah. That is really important. Becoming permissionless and open source means they can just work around things easily.
Yeah.
Like the free market is so bitchin', it's awesome. And
don't
forget that, because we are essentially Davids, a bunch of Davids, and you literally have one gigantic Goliath that reaches all the way to the moon. Do you know how long it's going to take for him to turn around just to look who's smashing him in the face or in the back of the head? Probably like a couple months or 3 years or whatever. Like governments are 10 to 20 years behind this technology. And for every day that's happening, they are becoming more and more behind this curve. And so, it is a learning curve. I can barely keep up. And I'm looking at Twitter all day, whatever, studying different projects and stuff all day long, and I can barely keep up, and I'm way smarter than all of these guys that are working for government. So yeah.
Suffice to say, if they could, they would. And the fact that they haven't yet, it speaks a lot. And the fact that they haven't yet, with the rate that this space is growing and developing, like Toby was saying, it's good luck.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Warren Buffett's best friend, Charlie Munger. He's like, I hate it. I hate it so much. He's pissed. He's really pissed because it destroys their little bubble that they've had for so long, the monopoly over finances. Now we can, anybody in the world literally could become a liquidity provider. What? They're pissed. They understand that the banking system is just like, they can't keep up. They just simply can't keep up. So anyways.
So we're happy to be on this side of it.
Exactly.
Are you?
It's great.
That's going to wrap it up for today's AMA. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Like and subscribe. Oh, don't do this.
Whatever.
If you want to just nail us, go ahead. I don't care.
Anyway, thank you, everyone, for joining in. We'll see you again soon.
Stay disobedient. Don't follow sheep. Bye-bye.